As time went on, Brad discovered he had a whole cache of distorted thoughts that he never really knew existed in his brain. It seemed that as soon as he got a thought somewhat neutralized, his brain would find another one to launch. This fascinated Brad to no end. He would often say that it felt like he had two people in his head, launching thoughts back and forth. Here's Brad's list. Who cares? Everyone else is doing it. I work hard, therefore I deserve a little relaxation. I won't drink the rest of the week. The other day I only had 2, so today I can have 6. Everyone's going to die of something, you know. I haven't had a beer since, and then he would insert a number of days, as if the passage of time or the days being responsible somehow earns a bit of irresponsibility. It's my way of unwinding. I'm pissed off now. Now I really don't care. I'm bored, and this is a good way to pass the time. At least I don't have any other vices. I can handle it. I get up for work every day. I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't get hangovers. It's a party, a celebration, special occasion. Live a little. My drinking buddy's coming into town, and I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want my buddies to know I'm cutting down. You know, I just don't want the questions. I work out and I take care of myself in other ways. That ought to counteract the unhealthiness of drinking a bit too much every now and again. I don't get drunk, slurring my words or blacking out. My buddy kept getting me 2 beers every time he went. I was just keeping up with him. I didn't want to be the only one who wasn't doing shots. And finally, having a limit deprives me of a good time. Part of the fun is not having the limit. So for each and every one of these thoughts, Brad and I went through the process of creating a mutually exclusive rational counter thought to replace the distortion. It's of critical importance that the rational thoughts we create are what we call mutually exclusive in nature, in relation to the existing default thoughts. By mutually exclusive, I mean either or, but not both. Some folks make the mistake of thinking that any old thoughts that support responsible drinking will do. This just isn't the case. In order for the thoughts that we're going to try and load into the system to be the most effective, they have to, as close as humanly possible, cancel out the meaning of the default thought that already exists. The brain can easily keep 2 distinct thoughts, one that supports excessive drinking and another that supports responsible drinking, in the program if those 2 thoughts are mutually inclusive. For example, let's look again at one of the thoughts that Brad found himself thinking as he was trying to skirt around his intention. Who cares? Everyone else is doing it. Now we could try and substitute the thought, responsible drinking is good for me, which definitely supports the idea of responsible drinking, but is not mutually exclusive to the thought, who cares? Everyone else is doing it. So although the thought, responsible drinking is good for me, is a good thought, it does virtually nothing to displace the intention-killing thought, who cares? Everyone else is doing it. So if we simply try to pump in the thought, responsible drinking is good for me, the other thought, who cares? Everyone else is doing it, does not really get affected. The brain does not have to choose one or the other, thus it can keep both. If, however, we carefully construct a mutually exclusive thought, now we're going to get somewhere. So for example, the mutually exclusive thought to who cares, everyone else is doing it, might be I care, my wife cares, my kids care, and oh by the way, 90% of the population or greater is not doing it. So why is it so necessary that we go through the trouble of constructing this mutually exclusive thought? Simple, really. The brain cannot believe two mutually exclusive thoughts at the same time. One can easily believe that nobody cares and everyone else is doing it at the same time that they believe responsible drinking is in fact a good thing. But it's impossible to believe that nobody cares and that I and my wife care at the same time. It's impossible to believe that everyone else is doing it and to believe that less than 10% of the population is actually doing it at the same time. So, by setting up a mutually exclusive counterthought, we can now force the brain to choose one or the other. And of course, in this case, we want to bring the idea, I care very much, my wife cares very much, and that reality is that 10% of the population drinks to intoxication, no more than that. This mutually exclusive counterthought then increases the canceling force of the new program exponentially. So, for every intention-killing thought that Brad discovered, we now have to manufacture a mutually exclusive counterthought. And here are some examples of what that might look like. Who cares? Everyone else is doing it. Well, I care. My wife cares. Those who love me care. And you know what? Actually, less than 10% of the population actually drinks that much. I work hard. Therefore, I deserve a little relaxation. I do work hard. And I do want to relax. And that relaxation involves no more than 1 beer per hour. I won't drink the rest of the week. I will drink only what I intended today. The rest of the week doesn't exist. Only today exists. The other day I only had 2, so today I can have 6. I can't save beers for the next episode. My intention today has nothing to do with the past. Everyone's going to die of something. Well, I cannot choose what I die from, but I can choose that it not be caused by the use of alcohol. I haven't had a beer since whenever. Again, as if the passage of time, of days being responsible, somehow earns a bit of irresponsibility. The answer, no amount of time between episodes changes anything. My intention stands, despite any passage of time. You know, it's just my way of unwinding. Well, my way of unwinding is exercise, reading a book, watching TV. I'm pissed off and now I really don't care. You know, being pissed off is the worst time to drink anything. I want to drink when I'm calm and I can actually enjoy having a couple of beers. I'm bored. It's a good way to pass time. The very best way to pass time, if I'm bored, is to do something physical, to read a book, to work on a hobby. At least I don't have any other vices. Having no other vices does not give me the liberty to get intoxicated. 0 vices is 100% better than 1 vice. Do the math. I choose 0. I can handle it. I get up for work every day. I do what I'm supposed to do. Anyone can get up for work every day. My goal is to be 100% functional when I'm at work. There's a huge difference. I don't get hangovers. I do get hangovers. Let's be brutally honest here. Anything less than 100% on the range of tired, lethargic, or just not completely being there is a hangover if it's due to drinking. It's a party, celebration, special occasion. Live a little. The absolute best way to celebrate and to live a little is to focus on the celebration and stick with my intention. Responsible drinking and self-discipline, now that's an awesome combo. My drinking buddy's coming into town, and I don't want to disappoint him. Responsible drinking will actually impress my buddies, and they will eventually want to know how to do it themselves. I don't want my buddies to know I'm cutting down. I don't want the questions. I do want the questions. If I get questions, I'll give answers. Not only will I be saving my own liver and my own marriage, but I can help others save theirs as well. I work out and take care of myself in other ways. That ought to counteract the unhealthiness of drinking a bit too much. Working out and taking care of myself is the very best reason to embrace the healthiness of drinking responsibly. I don't get drunk, slurring my words or blacking out. The truth, anything over 0.08 is irresponsible drinking, regardless of my high tolerance. Drunk is measured in blood alcohol levels, period. My buddy kept getting 2 beers every time he went. I was just keeping up. Keeping my wife happy is infinitely more important than easing my buddy's guilt. Think about that one for a minute. I don't want to be the only one who wasn't doing shots. I do want to be the only one who isn't doing shots. This sets me apart in a healthy and an influential way. Having a limit deprives me of a good time. Part of the fun is not having the limit. Nope. Staying within my limit, following my intention, that provides me with absolutely the most fun one could have. I get the best of all worlds. The taste of a few beers, a bit of relaxation, a healthy body, a happy wife, and that awesome feeling of self-discipline. What could be more fun than that? As you can see, these examples contain ideas that are carefully constructed to create the opposite meaning of Brad's original distorted thoughts. By taking the time to think about and develop these mutually exclusive thoughts, we're cranking up the canceling power of the new program. In fact, I would go as far as to say that if we don't take the time to construct these mutually exclusive thoughts, we're likely to fail miserably at this process. This principle lies at the very heart of cognitive behavioral theory and is what gives CBT so much power. If we don't execute this step correctly, we're not likely to ever delete the old programs from the system, because the brain will simply keep both programs rather than deleting the distorted one, and that would be a shame.